need y'all to talk about us because we're going to talk about ourselves.
Well, hello, everyone out there. Welcome into Titans Tube. My name is Justin. This is Jake, and let's see if I remember how to introduce episodes here, Jake. Okay, so it's been a minute, and oh my gosh, like the headlines have been nonstop, and so we kind of have waited to see what else are the Titans going to do, because we're going to put out a video, and more stuff is going to go down, and we're going to miss talking about things. But I think we've hit the limit here for now, as the news just dropped here on a Friday that the Titans have made their decision to hire a new general manager. And in case you've been living under a rock because you only watch our videos for your Titans information, you're like, new general manager? What? Well, let's backtrack. I guess we can start to backtrack, Jake, which goes back to the last game of the season. Houston game. Horrible game. Of course, what to be expected. Titans dropped that game. Houston only playing their starters for a drive or two, 23-14. Titans, though, silver lining. We have done it, Jake. We are the best at losing. We have the number 1 overall draft pick. Oh, man. And before I throw it to you, Jake, I think if you go back to watch our first episode of the season, I think we were saying – playoffs are in the picture, and possibly getting, the AFC South division title again because of our opponents, and we like the moves that Ran Carthon made. Well, life comes at you fast. Ran is gone, and we have the number 1 pick in the draft. Oh, we were wrong. But
dead wrong.
Anyway, Jake. Thank you for joining, and I'll throw it to you now. It's bad times. We have a lot of rough things to talk about in this episode.
We have a full schedule indeed, Justin, and like you said, we'll start right at that last game. In my opinion, Justin, I don't care that it was announced before the season. I don't care if you've been moving towards this all year long. I work in marketing, okay? I kind of know what I'm doing a little bit, kinda. You can't roll out the Oilers jerseys in that game. You need to leave them on the shelf. You need to not. That ruined the reputation of the Oilers jerseys and hats in Tennessee.
Sorry.
Because not only did you lose to Case Keenum last year in an unexpected loss against Houston, you try and play this troll thing up again to wear the Oilers jerseys again when you know you're going to lose to backups again. And so, in my opinion, you cannot trot the Oilers jerseys out there. It was a bad look. It was a bad scene. It was one of the ugliest football games I've ever had the displeasure of watching as a football fan. But here's the thing. We had a freaking party at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time when the New England Patriots won their game. Yeah. And the Titans lose their game. It was such an unexpected, hilarious, fun, oh my God, we're on the clock. Here we go. Yes, love it. Yes, let's pop some champagne. We got the number 1 pick. We'll see what we do with it. Let Rand cook. And we couldn't enjoy it for more than 24 hours, Justin, because the Titans front office shows its signature ineptitude again. That's going to be my word of the day again. The Titans front office cuts Ran Carthon loose, but keeps Brian Callahan, Justin. So for those playing along at home, if you go back to 2022, the Titans fired their GM, kept the head coach. 2023, fire the head coach, keep the GM. 2024, they keep the head coach, fire the GM. That is NFL front office malpractice, for one. You need to somehow pull the plug on the whole operation, or you don't do it at all. And I think I saw a tweet that summed it up pretty well, is that the only move that shows complete ineptitude is firing Rand and keeping Callahan. If you fired Callahan but kept Rand, okay, fine. Like we can live with that. We understand that. I don't think any Titans fans were like, "Oh, Callahan has to stay." But you decide to fire the GM who you kept because Mike Vrabel didn't get along with him, power struggle, and you said, you know what, we're going to get rid of a top 10 head coach in the NFL, top 12 head coach, whatever, fight me about it. He's in the top half, okay? He's better than Brian Callahan. And you cast him away and you said, we're going to hitch our wagon to Rand Carthon. We believe in what he's doing. We believe in the direction. And less than a calendar year later, Justin, you fire Rand Carthon. That is horrible. I mean, I don't know what you think. I know somebody had to fall on the sword for this 3-14 season, worst season in Titans history, in my opinion. I know the Ken Wisenhunt 2-14 team begs to differ, but oh my God, how unwatchable this team was all year long. I don't know, Justin. I don't know what you think about the move with Carthon, keeping Callahan. I don't know where you sit on that.
Speaking of unwatchable, Jake, you pointed this stat out to me because there's a PK article that came out, and before we completely move on from the Houston game,
yes.
The Titans did set the fans, but can you blame them? Set a all-time record low attendance record of just over 20,000 tickets scanned into the stadium on Sunday, out of a total of 69,000 and some change. So less than a third of the stadium was filled. And I texted you when I was in the stadium, Jake, that this is the fewest people I've seen in the Titan Stadium with my own eyes in my life. And yeah, it wasn't even close. What was the text?
The next one was the Christmas Eve home game, also against Houston. In 2022, Malik started that game. The game was delayed by electricity failures, water main breaks, et cetera, et cetera. Coldest home game in Tennessee Titans history. And that game, Justin, had 15,000 more people. So not only did the Titans beat the record, they shattered it.
Yeah, not even close. So that just goes to show, like, literally how unwatchable this team is. One of the most unwatchable teams we've ever seen on the field. And so I don't see a lot of things coming, Jay, because I didn't really see the J-Rob firing coming, but I guess in hindsight I should have, and a lot of people saw it coming, especially, the A.J. Brown thing and what he did in that game against us, where he was immediately fired later. I still thought that John Robinson was had his handprint on this franchise, and his job was more secure than that. I thought Rand was pretty secure in his job, more so than Callahan. Mm-hmm. I thought, if anything, if you had to fire one, keep the other, it would have been Callahan that we let go and kept Rand. So I don't know. The interesting thing to me about this firing is you don't know what goes on behind the scenes, and all of that stuff that came out about Rand, like, kind of being lazy on the job. And who was it? Chad. What's his name? I forget what his name. There, Chad, but his name kept coming up. I think he's the VP of
Chad Brinker.
Of personnel or something like that. And his name kept coming up about he was kind of the final say guy, and he had a lot more power than I guess I had imagined. And little tidbits about Rand, on what was it? Team flights back from the game. He's not like scouting or watching film or anything. He's back there, watching movies or talking or whatever. And I guess apparently he's more of a relationship and vibes GM. I didn't know there was different like styles of GM. Like you have a player's coach and you have a coach's coach, and you can have vibes GMs, I guess. Which I don't know. I don't know what. Yeah, he's hitting the clubs. He's developing networks and relationships. Mm-hmm. But that wasn't good enough apparently. But so I don't know. I didn't know what to make of all that, because then if that is indeed the case, then yeah, I guess it is the right move. Like I want my GM. If you're in this big time position, I want you to be locked in and doing everything you can to improve the football team. Which is, always, scouting and looking at players and trying to do what's best for this roster. And I guess he wasn't like locked in. I don't know. Did you have anything else to say about that end of it? Because I thought that kind of came out of nowhere. And And I guess I'm glad that we made this move because it didn't seem like Rand was locked in all the time.
I don't know, man. It's just like it's just I I've been talking about throughout the season, the few videos that were dispersed over the second half of the season, how I'm starting to become radicalized, Justin, against the Adams family, against the Amy
Mm,
Adams Strunk regime on this team. Yes, she's dragged us out of this position before. We know that. And she kind of put Nashville on the map as an NFL city with the draft, new stadium, the Super Bowl is going to come eventually. I get it. I get it. She was been a good businesswoman. But when it comes to the football operation, we'll say, Justin, we had it. We had it. We had, Ryan Tannehill playing like a franchise quarterback. I know people don't want to admit that, but you had Ryan Tannehill playing as a franchise quarterback. You had a franchise left tackle, Taylor Lewan. You had Ben Jones anchoring that offensive line. They weren't great, but they were good and they were serviceable enough. You had Hall of Famer, number 22, Derrick Henry back there. You had A.J. Brown out wide. You had Julio Jones, which I know revisionist history, but it was still Julio Jones out wide. You've built something. You have the
mm,
team, the defense with Kevin Byard and Jeff Simmons and Harold Landry and all these guys who are performing, better than expected. They're not household names, but Kevin Byard's an all-pro safety. Jeff Simmons,
yep.
Pro Bowler, 10 times over. You had the team. There's zero reason why A.J. Brown should have ever left the building. I understand why Derrick Henry left the building, but it's because the team was decaying around him. And by that time, by the end of last season, the writing's on the wall. We suck. We suck. Go get yours, Derek. So I get that too. But you had it. Amy Adams Strunk, you had it. You had the plan in place. I know John Robinson, after the A.J. Brown trade, that's a fireable offense. I agree with that move. But you still had the nucleus. You still had the Vrabel nucleus where he's dragging everything out of players each week. You have a bad roster, you're injured, but you still feel like you have a chance every single Sunday when you go out there. And now you fire him because you love this new hotshot Rand Carthon guy.
Yeah.
And I just said this, in my last speech, but then you go and fire him less than a year later. What is going on? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
what is happening? That is malpractice. It shows that Amy Adams Strunk is making emotional decisions, like, they're rash, quick. You let things develop. When you crater out like this and you're in a rebuild like this, you need to have culture setters and you need to keep culture setters, Justin. But they're just falling by the wayside. Tires are falling off the car, Justin. And I do I have any faith in this front office? Do I said we couldn't even enjoy getting the number one pick. I don't even care what we do at the number one pick, Justin, because we're gonna just mess it up anyway. We're gonna throw it away on Shador Sanders or trade it and bring in whoever. We're gonna get a bad haul and draft another Traylon Burks. It doesn't matter what we do with the number one pick because it's not going to change anything next season or maybe even the season after that. Because also what it tells me, Justin, is that Brian Callahan is a lame duck head coach. I mean, how long is he supposed to be there? He comes in, underperforms, has his team be pantsed week after week, looking uninspired, poorly coached, can't make adjustments in games, soft, quite frankly. And you keep him around, you bring in this new GM from Kansas City, and he's not going to be, Callahan's not his guy. He didn't hire him. So now we're just in this seesaw of just absolute chaos. And what are we going to do to dig out? The number one pick right now feels, yes, it's a nice little bonus, Justin. It's nice. But I mean, we're not going to see the fruits of this sucking labor for another couple of years.
Yeah. Yeah, you're 100% right about there's no consistency or culture or like a regime that's like all in this together on the same page. And it does seem, year after year, Amy Adams Strunk is making lots of emotional decisions. And I think you call it. I think other people have called it too, but I'll give you credit because you're the first person I heard say it. But the writing's on the wall for Callahan. You can just see it. Speaking of
Yep.
emotional decisions, guess who's going to come to Nashville, or we have to go to New England? But Titans and New England are going to play next year because they're last place finishers in the division.
Yep.
I don't expect the Titans to come out firing, in 2025 and have a great start. We're probably going to be struggling. It could be an early season matchup, but Amy Adams Strunk is not going to like it whenever Mike Vrabel comes to
Comes
town
to
and
Nissan Stadium.
comes to Nissan Stadium and beats the brakes off of you because he's changed and reshaped the culture in New England and has them trending in the right direction. And she's going to get embarrassed and upset, and she's going to look bad. And guess what? Brian Callahan might get fired right after that. And now we got to go look for another head coach to pair with our new first year GM. It's a back and forth battle here. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how. I don't run an NFL franchise. I would never know how to do it, but I don't think this is the right
No.
way to do it. This ain't it, Amy. This ain't it. Um, we'll see. New guy, Mike Borgonzi. Cool, Mike Borgonzi. I don't know. Kansas City. He comes from Kansas City. Is that right?
Assistant general manager in Kansas City. Yes.
That's good. Well, Rand Carthon came from San Francisco whenever they were going to Super Bowls. So I don't know. You like to think, Mike Borgonzi has seen what it takes to build a successful franchise. I mean, all you got to do is draft Patrick Mahomes. That's all you got to do to really
Easy.
put your team in Super Bowl contention year after year. So we'll see. I mean, yeah, talk about just a directionless franchise and making moves at a horrible time when you've decided to build a new stadium, using some taxpayer dollars, and you're trying to sell tickets. I don't know. And if you want to, Jake, we can transition to maybe the saddest loss of all time in franchise history. Talk about directionless, dude. I don't know how much more I can talk about Rand and Callie and Amy Adams Strunk and just the complete dysfunction we're seeing from this team. But dude, this hurts. This hurts as bad as any other player because this dude is the Titans, the voice of the Titans, integrated since the team moved here. Nobody knows more. Nobody knows more. He knows more than Amy Adams Strunk knows about this franchise. He knows more than the Adams family and anyone who's ever played here or coached here. The all-time GOAT, Mike Keith, man. I wonder if I have conspiracies. Maybe he was seeing the things that this franchise was doing the past few years, and the stars kind of aligned with the play-by-play guy over with the Tennessee Vols program retiring, and so this was the opportunity to bounce.
Mm-hmm.
But I think people have whispered rumors that the guy was going to retire. I can't think of his name right now, and so this was and it was known that Mike Keith, UT grad. It's been said it's kind of a dream job for him, but dude, he was so integrated with the Titans. There's still a part of me that's kind of surprised to actually see this all happen. Man, yeah, I mean that's part of my. He's part of the Titans experience for sure, and that's a tough loss, man. Mike Keith is one of the great play-by-play callers in the NFL and may of all time. I mean, yeah, he's like Nashville sports incarnate into a person. So. Dude, sad to see him go. I'm more sadness for Titans fans. If it could get worse.
It's just been weeks of hell ever since the Green Bay game, frankly. I mean, if you want to go back to the Green Bay Thursday night game, it all goes back to that. And it's funny because obviously I was at that game. I got this picture collage up here of our beautiful football trip, and it was the moment Todd Downing gets drunk on the plane, and we have tumbled so far to the point where the voice of the Tennessee Titans, as you said, Justin, I mean, how much worse can it get? You teed that up perfectly. I can't say any more nice words about Mike Keith than you did, Justin. And I'm not even a guy who has access to Nashville radio. Yeah, I've listened to it, on stream and stuff like that before. But Mike Keith, so many iconic calls for the Titans. I mean, the emotion, the sack, the touchdown, Titans, everything.
Chills.
It was just the cherry on top of a shit Sunday, Justin, that this Titans icon, legend. If he had a jersey, you would retire it. And I'm sure he'll have a spot in the Ring of Honor, eventually. He should have a spot in the Ring of Honor, which is funny to say for your radio broadcaster. But you see him leave and just what's next? And I feel like I made this joke to you and then I saw it on Twitter and everything. T-Rack's going to leave. He's going to ask for a trade. What is going on? It's really sad. And it's tough to see a legend go.
We're like this. It's like this close to just the team straight up moving out of Nashville. Like it's the next step is losing a guy like Mike Keith, voice of the Titans. I would hate to be the guy, honestly, to follow up his job because Mike Keith left a standard that's just unreachable. And you know what? Speaking of guys that have left that was integrated into Titans fandom or in the culture is the PA announcer guy. He retired a few years ago, but he had been doing it since the team got here. And there's another guy that came in and is taking his place, and he's fine, but it's not the same. The guy that went on, he would drone on like it's 3rd and 2 at the some whatever yard line, and he like his voice just built the suspense, and he was like a huge part of the game day experience, being at the game. And so it's kind of the same thing, but for the radio. Like you listen to Titans radio a lot for Mike Keith. Like I've seen countless instances of people saying like, I watch the games at home on TV, but I'm muted, and then I turn on the radio to listen to Mike Keith's call because there's so much insight and input and knowledge. Like he's the true pros pro of commentating. I think he's respected around all circles in the league. So, dude, losing a legend and just another piece of this franchise, that another piece of your heart it just gets squashed a little bit. It's tough. It's tough to see him go. So all the flowers. Mike Keith should never have to pay for a meal in Nashville ever again, or Tennessee in general. But good luck to whatever bozo's going to come in and try to be the new Mike Keith. We're rooting for you. I shouldn't call him a bozo.
I don't even know. Have you seen the Oakland A's announcer? It was a lady this year, and I feel like they intentionally made the broadcast poor, and it almost feels. I think it's funny that you mentioned that. Sorry for the complete random Oakland A's stray bullet, but it almost feels that way. Like with the building of the new stadium, I mean, are we intentionally tanking this thing to try and have some kind of marketable product in 2027? Because not only have you set the all-time low in attendance, not only have you tied your record for most losses in a season, not only have you played this GM head coach ping pong ineptitude battle, not only have you lost your franchise stalwart broadcaster, voice of the team, not only have you done this, not only have you done that, it's just stacking and stacking and stacking and stacking and stacking and stacking to the point where, like, I mean, what is, like, I don't understand. You said it, directionless. And I think most, big time networks and ESPN and talking heads are even on national broadcasting calling the Titans rudderless, directionless. What is the vision? And you can even go back in our videos earlier this season, and when they start to falter, like, you don't see the vision, you don't see an identity, you don't see passion, you don't see anything. And
we don't connect to this team. There's no connection to these players and these coaches. Like,
exactly, no connection. And
we're losing. We're losing connections, a la Mike Keith. So the Titans are becoming. Dude, and you can see behind me. I painted the room. I got the McNair jersey back here. I still try to embrace this team, but they're getting away from me. They're getting away from me with these moves they're making and these legends that are leaving.
It's brutal, man. I feel for you so hard being a season ticket member, a founding season ticket member, mind you. You re-up for the new stadium. You're a
Look, they
model.
sent me this.
There you go. Wow.
At least they sent me a poster at the end of the year. Look, season ticket member thing. Glad I have that. Look, it's 713 out of 16,000.
Oh wow.
That's one of them.
Limited.
I mean, should put that on the wall. Anyway,
But man, and
I
then
had it right in front of me.
even going to the social media part of it all, the tweets and the Reddit posts about the Delaney Walker bobblehead season ticket gift got out, and that ran roughshod across the internet. Like, wow, what a shitty, lousy season ticket member gift. But at least they print out a nice 8.5 by 11 for you there, Justin, off the old, Canon printer in the office.
And I'm using Delaney Walker too. He's on the end. He's one of my bobbleheads up there too. I'm still using it. I'm glad they did one of him because they've made some good player selections, just not like timely, I guess. But there's no player I would want as a bobblehead from this roster.
Exactly.
roster.
You want
We already
to
have
this bobblehead? You want to freaking Traylon Burks or
We already have a Jeff Simmons too, so maybe a Jeff Simmons, but they did him last year, I think. So, so I don't know. Yeah, it's tough sledding right now, Jake. I guess I have no choice but to stick with them. I'm not about to jump ship to a new team. That's crazy. That's crazy. Who does that?
It's never crossed.
Unloyal. Yeah, I've chosen this loser franchise, and I'm sticking with being a loser of a fan of a team like this. So I guess going into the draft, Jake, we're going to kind of finalize this episode. I'm kind of curious how they did the GM hiring, and I wonder if they posed the question, you have the number one pick. Let us know how would you fix this problem? And they probably picked the guy whose answer they liked the best. So maybe Mike Borgonzi has a plan. I don't know. The plan could be Amy Adams is like, you know what? I don't care what your plan is. We're going to draft Shedeur Sanders because we got to sell tickets, and he's our best shot at selling tickets and putting fans back in the seats. So that could be the thing. Maybe we draft Shedeur. I don't know if I want that. He seems very talented and all that, but I don't like the media circus and Dion being just around the corner all the time and putting his influence out there. Do you have what do you think? Is there should we trade back? Maybe get an extra first round pick for next year and think about that and look for a quarterback in that way? Or do you like any of these quarterbacks in this draft? What would you do, man?
And as we've been reiterating, it just gets worse, Justin, because not only were you the best at sucking and you get the number one pick, it's so Titans to get the number one pick in a bad quarterback class. Come on, man. We can't even have the generational prospect or, the savior coming in. We can't even do that. We can't even pick the right year to suck. So, Justin, my plan is to trade back because I said it earlier. I don't think the number one pick this year moves the needle at all for 2 seasons at minimum. And that's if you're lucky. That's if you hit on a number one pick. So you have so many holes to fill on this roster, so many holes that you need to trade out of this number one pick and get everything you can for it. And here's the conspiracy tinfoil hat for you, Justin. There's been conversation with Deion Sanders in Dallas. They're looking to turn a new page. Obviously, they're going to want Shedeur Sanders if Deion goes to Dallas. So you trade the number one pick for Dak Prescott and a few more, back end picks. So the Titans now have their bridge quarterback in Dak Prescott, and you let Deion go to Dallas, put the star on Shedeur's helmet, and it'll be great. That would be great. I'm not a Dak Prescott fan. I don't like what they've done in Dallas, but he would be light years ahead of any other option starting the 2025 season. It would be the best case scenario. So that's my tinfoil hat, is that Dak Prescott is your starting quarterback next year, week 1. But other than that, I think you have to trade back. I don't know. Do you think trade back?
I like that exactly. Yeah, I think if they go with Deion Sanders, they want Shedeur. You trade back to 12. You get Dak, you get their first round pick, and probably am I crazy? You would get their first for next year too, right?
Possibly.
Going from
Yeah.
1 to 12 is you can get a big haul for that trade. I mean, remember what we got for going from 1 to 15 with the Rams? Like we
Mhm.
got so many high end picks. They didn't come with a Dak Prescott. We only got
Yeah.
picks back, I believe.
Mhm.
But um, if that were the case, I would like that. So then, and you know what? And I think Dallas might suck next year, even with Sanders as their
Perfect.
top
Yeah.
quarterback. They
Perfect.
could. So you could get a top 5 pick next year too. And I like the idea of Dak as a bridge quarterback because you know he's if he played for us next year, it would be more watchable. I don't want to go through another miserable season like this where we can't
No.
even we're not even a fun watchable team. We would have some things to cheer about. It we would Dak's a pretty good quarterback. I think he's got some good football left. Hopefully, he bounces back from the injury and all that. But also, I like his demeanor, and I think he would be he seems chill. He'd be a chill quarterback to be that mentor style type of a player to bring along a high end rookie first round pick for us in 2026, possibly.
Arch
And kind of,
Manning.
yeah, dude, yeah, having
Hire
Dak
me as
starting
GM.
and then Arch Manning, yeah, waiting in the wings. That's a good plan. That's cool by me. Maybe win a few games next year. But you know what? You're not under pressure to lose, so to speak, so that you can get that high pick because you've got Dallas's. And then we just root against Dallas every single week. Even more reasons to root against Dallas because we would have their first round pick. So I like that plan. I like that. If that doesn't work out, maybe trade back to the Giants or Cleveland's pick at 2 or 3, get a few extra picks, and then go with the edge rusher out of Penn State. He seems to be a guy that could be the real deal. I mean, when's the last time we've had an elite edge rusher? He's not like a Myles Garrett coming out. I don't think. I mean, he had ridiculous hype, but Harold Landry is good. He's decent. He's fine, like Harold Landry. But I'm talking about an elite 12 plus year in and year out sacker, 12 plus sacks year in and year out kind of guy. Maybe Abdul, I think his name's Abdul Carter. He can
Yeah.
be that player. Get him at 3, and then grab a couple more picks. Maybe get a third rounder back. I think we lost our third round pick because of the Snead trade. I think so. Kind of get some picks back and rebuild that way. But this team might really love Cam Ward or Shador Sanders, and so I don't know. Buckle up if they're one of the picks that we go with, then buckle up for God. We're praying that they work out for this team. It's gonna set us back even more. So
Yeah.
a lot of pressure, new GM, a lot of pressure. I mean, John
Indeed.
Robinson did great in his first year with the trade, and then but we did have Mariota, coming into his second year, and he had a lot of promise too. So there wasn't a pressure to get a quarterback. Different situation, but yeah, big task at hand for this new regime. We'll see what happens, man.
We'll see. I'm going to have a good time. I think the draft's the last week of April. It'll be a fun Thursday night at minimum.
Yeah.
We'll perform a seance. We'll perform a curse breaking ritual. We'll try and put out some good vibes because it's been nothing but bad vibes in Nashville for some time now. And Justin, I'm afraid we haven't quite bottomed out yet. That will remain to be seen. No negative Nellies. They can't hurt us right now. It's the off season. They'll try their best to hurt us in the off season, and they have so thus far. But let's just take a little break from the team, and we'll see you in April.
Enjoy
We'll
watching. Yes, exactly, and then try to enjoy watching Derrick Henry crush it in the playoffs and AJ Brown. I guess. I mean, fans seem to be hot and cold about him, but I mean, he didn't ask to be traded. J. Rob just straight up traded him. It's not really his fault. He did say some. He was pretty rude to us. He's made some rude comments about Titans. Yeah, that's true. We're not as for AJ Brown, but the King, man, yeah, still crushing it in the playoffs. So try to enjoy that and hope that no more horrible news comes out about the team. Hopefully T-Rex stays with us, like you were saying.
Well, we can only hope, Justin. Oh man, like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. Thank y'all for slogging through an absolutely brutal season with us, from Dayton and this little orange friend here to Murphy
saw.
and Justin here. We appreciate y'all tuning in, and if anything notable comes up, you know where to find us, and we'll
be here.
cover it all, whether it's good, bad, in between. No jumping ship here. Titans fans for life. Tighten up. Peace out.